The radio station is ZFM. And my next guest, her name starts with Z. And her name is Zeta Annan. Welcome to I Have a Story to Tell, Zeta. And you have a hell of a story to tell, I know, because I've known you all my life. And I want you to tell us about the good old days in Ghana, because we are over 70, so we can tell that story. You were where you were born and your early days and everything.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for inviting me, first of all, to this very interesting place. I've always wanted to speak on the radio, so this first, and it's nice to be with you. Yes, I was born in 1953 in the United Kingdom. At St Mary's Hospital in Paddington. And my parents then, my daddy was a dentist and my mother a teacher in London. And I was in England for 6 months with them, and then we came back to Ghana. That's when my father was, as a qualified dentist, ended up in secondary, opening up dental schools there in Takoradi and Accra. And apparently my mother used to say that when visiting my father in secondary or Takoradi, we had to go by plane. A little biplane. It was just me and her and some sandbags.
Really?
And when they get to, yes, when they got to a certain point, they'd throw a sandbag out, and I'll just giggle, apparently. At 6 months old, I wasn't scared, but she was absolutely petrified. And that's why she never flew until she was about 80.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, so your dad, if I may say so, was dentist Ezekiel Kwamna Alute Kofi.
That's right.
Who eventually became the chief of Jamestown, though he passed away a few years ago.
That's right.
But Zeta, you grew up in Kolebu.
Yes.
Kolebu Hospital, the campus, big place, and it was a very exciting place because I think it was the bedrock of Ghanaian society in terms of the fact that a lot of the Ghanaian doctors who would come home worked in Kolebu. It was such a big place. It was a city in itself.
Yes.
Laundries, what have you.
And schools, and my mother opened up a school. Remember
right.
New Hope School as well.
Okay, so tell us about those days growing up in Kolebu.
Ooh, what do I remember? All I remember, the lady up the road who sold sweeties, and I used to run up there with my two sisters, Zelda and Zarmel. But it was a great time. It was very free. The land was huge, and we lived in number 1 Slater Avenue, not far from the dental school where my father worked. So it was nice to be able to walk up to the dental school some days and give him his lunch. I remember that definitely over the holidays. And I think there was a huge gutter, if I remember. We used to jump over this thing, and my little sister Zarmel, then at that time we didn't know that she was special needs, but she used to be so slow. We said, "Come on, Zarmel, hurry up, you know, why are you walking so slowly?" But that was, it was cute. We were 8, 9 or 10 in those days. And my mother opened up her school in the only garage we had in number 1 Slater Avenue. That's how it started, New Hope School. And I went to international school.
Yes.
And I was a little bit disappointed because I wanted to be at New Hope School to be spoilt by my mum. But she said, no, you can't do that.
All right. So from international school, you went to Achimota College, didn't you?
Yes. I think I was about 11 years old when I got there. And because I'd been in England, best up, the last 10 years or so, I couldn't speak Ga very well. In fact, I couldn't speak Ga at all. And so I was teased when it was time to speak or read Ga. That's what I remember about Achimota. But I had a great time. I met cousins like Jennifer, Ranai, and other girls, Mary, Damar, and people like that. So Achimota, I was only there for a year because I had to go back to England because my little sister I was telling you about, Zarmel, found out that she was special needs and she needed a special school at the time, my parents thought. And I think it was the Jolitos who introduced the school to my mum. So we went back to England with Zarmel. And it didn't work out for her, so she came back. And Eddie, my brother, and my sister Zelda stayed on.
I see.
And so did I, yeah. So we came back, and then that was it, the beginning of England again for me. at the age of 12. Yeah.
Yes, so from what I gather, you lived in England and you were coming home to Ghana, and then you'd go back and, and all that. I beg your pardon.
Yes. That's,
One of the highlights of your teenage years was that you managed to run for Ghana at the Commonwealth Games in Edinburgh. How did that happen?
Well, I wonder how that happened. I was at boarding school now in England, what was the name of the school? Clare Park School in Farnham. And I ran for the Surrey Championships. Yes, that's right. And so my father thought it would be a good idea if Zeta could run for Ghana. And I think I was in 1970. It was 1970, yes, the Commonwealth Games in Edinburgh.
1970, yes.
Yeah. And he was proud about that because he ran in the same stadium that I'd be running in, the Meadowbank Stadium in Edinburgh.
Yes.
And I had no idea of how it was going to turn out. I was the only girl apart from Alice Annam.
Yes.
I wonder where she is now.
She lives in the States.
Oh, really?
I think in California,
wow.
if I'm right.
Okay, so there's just the two of us. And I did the 100 yards.
100, yeah.
Yes.
It was Commonwealth Games, so
Yes,
it was
that's
100
right.
yards.
100
yes.
yards, 200 yards, and the long jump for Ghana.
Yes.
I didn't come first, but what I did do, apparently, I was the fastest one in the heats.
I see.
That's my claim to fame.
Oh, I
and
see.
yes, and also had the exciting time about I was able to sign my autograph in Edinburgh High Street,